We're gathered today to celebrate the life and honor the memory of Diane Drigot, scientist, activist, feminist, humanist. As family, colleagues, friends, we are ambassadors representing the wonderful diversity of Diane's life. Diane was true to her namesake, Diana. In Roman mythology, Diana was the goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the creative life process of birthing. Being associated with wild animals in the woodland and having the power to talk and control animals, a capability probably she found very useful with both boobies and Marines. As I thought of her life, her professional career, her achievements, her commitment to preserving the natural environment, and a profound pride and appreciation for culture, the Hawaiian culture, the Lithuanian culture. A poem of the poet Mary Oliver came to mind, entitled Wild Geese. So listen to this. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clear blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things, calling you over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Diane certainly understood, I think, the spirit behind this poem. The appreciation for nature, the environment, the people around her, and all that was happening. And she knew her place. And she called all of us to know our place, just as the world around us, the natural world, calls us, like the wild geese, like the boobies. They say, we are here with you. You are here with us. Diane had no Oedipus complex. As she's left us, I cannot imagine her wanting her legacy to be a building or a bridge or a street named in her honor. Rather, she left us what she truly wanted, a little piece of the world with a restored, living, balanced, natural habitat. As a professional person, she didn't just study the environment or romantically idealize it. The natural world was to be lived in as your place in it. And you were to respect and honor all the other living things, plant, animal, rocks, stars, whatever you came in contact with the same honor that you gave to each other. She had an intuitive native appreciation for her place in the world. And leading by moral example, she gave us an example of what our place in the world also should be. She always acted to make this a better place. Promoting, for instance, as we saw yesterday with Gordon, the peaceful coexistence of a habitat for birds and a firing range. Birds living naturally and our defense forces practicing to defend us in the same place. Once when she told me about this years ago, I jokingly said to her, "So these boobies, what do? Teach them to duck?" She didn't think that was funny at the time, but then she sort of said, "Well, not really, but you get the idea," because she said to me. But not just a practical understanding, but a steep and deep spiritual appreciation motivated her. She responded to the call of the world to imagine what it was and what it still could be if we treated it with the respect it deserved. She responded with her imagination, her energy, and her love. So, as we then honor her and her gift to the natural world that she had that little piece to be caring for, so there are people here who loved that work and loved her and lived with her, were inspired by her to be a part of that. And a part of that was not just, again, as I said, caring for those animals and birds and the natural environment, but it expressed this deep sense that she had even of her Lithuanian culture. And if you look at the back of your program, you'll see that there is a spiritual realm in the native Lithuanian tradition that was pre-Christianity. And Lithuania was one of the last countries in Europe to embrace Christianity. And it never really embraced Christianity as much as it added on to spiritual beliefs they already had. And so, in this belief, the Veles were the life force that when you die, life and death, back and forth, went back to Mother Earth, and then would come alive in the spirit around you. In the birds, in the animals, in life, you never knew how the Veles would be present, but they would be with you. And so, we today celebrate in many traditions, but that natural tradition, a spiritual realm, living in nature, was certainly part of what she believed in and celebrated. And so people who knew her, we've got some representatives who will talk about that, who worked with her, who shared a professional commitment with her and friendship with her, are here part of us today. So I'd like to call first on Captain Derek George to speak about his...
Okay, I got a couple things I want to share. I didn't write anything down for me. I got something that June wanted me to share with you folks. But before I do that, we all know Diane. We all know how passionate she was. I mean, we can go on and on about that. But, I first met Diane. I was 21 years old. I was a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps. I'd just come off of my first Westpac cruise and, traveling the world. And I felt like, hey, I'm not a barracks rat. I'm gonna go down and see if I can do some volunteer work and pull weeds for somebody. I don't know. So I ended up asking around if we had a environmental department, and everybody pointed in one direction. And I was at the old facilities department, and Diane was the environmental department. She had just come aboard. Again, like I said, I was 21 years old. I walked into her office, and it was a small cubicle. Papers were stacked literally to the ceiling, and she was by herself. She's like, "Hurry up! I'm busy! I'm busy! I'm busy!" And I'm like, "Hey, can I do something for you? Do some volunteer work for you?" She goes, "Yeah, follow me." And she took me down to the shed. They had some weed whackers and sickles and stuff, and she made me go to the ponds and chop down mangrove. Now, mind you, I'm 21 years old. I'm a Lance Corporal. Waikiki is just over the mountains over here. And the bar is down here in Kailua. And I'm chopping mangrove. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? And she's over there dictating, do this, do this, do this, do this. And I'm looking like, this lady's nuts. She's nuts. And she's got all this energy. And I'm like, hey, are you smoking something? Because if not, man, geez, something's going on here. And she's like, never mind, just keep cutting. And she'd get right on in there and just start chopping away with me. We're talking story. And again, I'm 21 years old. I put 12 years in the Marine Corps. My last tour was back in Hawaii. And I ran into her a few times after that. So it was, coming around and then getting out of the Marine Corps, working for the state with DLNR, and eventually coming back and working for the Marine Corps as a civil servant with Diane right around the corner from me. And she's, so coming full circle. I can emphasize all the, how we all know how passionate she was about her job. But there was so many funny stuff, and I'm pretty sure all of us can relate to some of the funny stuff she did. She came sprinting into my office one day, and she's like, "You got to come with me. I got to get some film. We got to go to a package store. I got some visitors coming through the gate." And I'm like, "Well, what do you need?" "Batteries. I got batteries right here." No, I need a special kind of battery." "Okay, Diane, well, relax. Come on." So she's dragging me out the door. We get into my truck. We get to the package store. She goes, "Just park right here." And I go, "Diane, I can't park here." "No, just park here, park here." And she sprints out of the truck. She runs to the package store. And she comes out with AA batteries. And I'm like, but this is the best part. She comes out. She runs across the parking lot and jumps into a truck with another guy sitting in there. I'm like, and I start hitting the horn. I'm busting out laughing. I'm like, "Hello." And the guy is in the truck and he gets on. He's looking at her like, and she looks at the guy and goes, "You're not Gordon." And then she turns around. She goes, "Oh," and she comes over. She's laughing. She jumps in the truck and I'm just like, "You are smoking. You're smoking something." So we get to where we're going, and that was Diane. The energy she had was just amazing. Just amazing energy. Every year we had what we call mud-ops. I hate AAVs. You know what an AAV, an amphibious assault vehicle? I was a grunt. You get in a dang AAV, you just hate being in AAVs. Diane just loved being in a dang Terrier AAV. She wanted me to be in a Terrier AAV. I'm like, "No, I don't want to go up there." "No, you got to go up there. You got to tell the Marines what to do." So before we start doing mud-ops, she would give the Marines a lecture. And being a former Lance Corporal, former Marine, former Sergeant, whatever, you're not going to talk to a bunch of Lance Corporals like you're talking to a bunch of university kids, getting their master's degrees. And they're just looking at you like, "Lady, hurry up, just hurry up, we just want to get in the thing and just drive the tank." Anyway, so I sneak up behind her. I'm like, "Diane, kind of hurry up. And she's like, I'm busy. This is really important. They need to know this." So, I'm like, "Diane, hurry up." She turns around. She's upset with me again. I pick her up, and it's all mud over there. It's just mud. I pick her up and just body slam her in the mud. She gets up without skipping a beat and picks up where she left off. And all the Marines are like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool." She's digging this. And that was a ritual every year up until finally I gave in and said, "I'm not getting on another AAV." Every year when she was around, I'd pick her up and throw her in the mud and make sure she got all muddy. So anyway, those little things about her personality that we can all reflect on and smile and laugh and sometimes cry. As passionate as she was about what she believed in, about her job, about the activities she participated in, there were another side of her that I had an opportunity, a privilege to see. And that was her real sensitive side. There were times when she would call me, in the middle of the evening, and she'd talk about, I'm really serious about this one project. I'd really like to see it go. And I said, "Diane, you do the best you can, and you just let it go the way that it is." She goes, "Yeah, but I'm really serious about it." "But yeah, I know you are, but there's a lot of players involved." And so, and that really touched me, how passionate she was. Again, we know how passionate she is, but really seeing that real drive come out, that really woke me up. It helped me to understand how important it was for her, or how important it was for all of us to take care of this Aina that we have. Some of the other things that I reflect on is her passion for music. So passionate for music. She would call me up at 11:30 at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and she'd say, "Hey, check out this tune." and she'd play like the Drifters, up on the roof, or, under the boardwalk, or the Four Tops, and and stuff like that. I'm like, hey Diane, yeah, cool. Can I go back to sleep now? And it's stuff like that. It's so funny. She just really, those, I look back and yeah, we worked together. We all worked together. The whole department, we're a team, but we're a family too, a real family, a real ohana. And I really miss that about not seeing her around, not joking around with her. One more joke, one more funny thing I did to her. I had just started, and anyway, so Ron Yamada was, hey Gordon, he said, hey Gordon, what are you doing standing by the window? And I said, come here, check this out. So he comes over and goes, what are you doing? I go, leave Diane. What is she doing? She's running around the car. I said, why is she doing that? I said, put a note on it. It says, sorry, but I hit your car. And, I'm just sorry. I'm not going to leave you any money, sorry. And I just left it there. And she found that note. And she's sprinting around the car looking for a dent. She comes running back into the office. She's like, somebody hit my car. Somebody hit my car. So I let it go for a little while. And finally, because she's going office to office, and she's yelling this out, somebody hit my car. And I'm like, Diane, I put the note on there. And almost as if she wasn't listening. I said, Diane, I put the note on your car. She goes, no, somebody hit my car. There's a dent. I saw that dent. I'm like, no. I finally walked away. I went back to my desk. I sat down. And it must have been like 2 hours later, she comes back. She goes, hey, did you put this note on my car? Oh, my gosh. So anyway, Diane in a nutshell. But, okay, that's it for me, because I can keep going. But I'm going to read a little bit of something that June Cleghorn wanted me to read. June couldn't be here. Paul, her husband, they flew to Maui this morning to go take care of Paul's brother who's ill. So she wanted me to read this for you folks. Before I do, I need water.
Water. Coming up.
I'm sorry. I've asked one of my colleagues to read some thoughts I have about working with Diane at MCBH Hawaii Environmental Department because I am not able to attend Diane's celebration of life in person. I'm June Cleghorn, one of the current cultural resource managers for MCBH Hawaii, and it was Diane that hired me 18 years ago. As I thought about this celebration of Diane's life, I knew that there was much to truly celebrate about Diane, and I had hoped to be at this event because I would have enjoyed hearing from the many people whom Diane worked with and life touched. And so I thought that although I could not attend her life celebration, I wanted to share a little bit about who Diane was to those of us who worked in the trenches with her day in and day out to keep MCBH Hawaii's environmentally conscientious and compliant as we could. In this regard, I do see us true civilian Marines. And like her or not, she was our commander in the most possessive sense of the word, ours. As I thought about the possessiveness I felt towards Diane as being our environmental department leader, I wondered what was the root of this possessiveness. And the only answer to this that I could think of was that it is. Because again, like her or not, we are proud of the tireless work she did to protect the base's natural resources, and we admire and want to celebrate all the good that came out of her dogged determination to protect and save and enhance all of Mokapu's animal creatures and plant species. You may have noticed that I said a couple times, like her or not, and I worry that this may be quite rude to talk openly about anything negative at a person's celebration of life after they have passed away. As we remember all the good things that they accomplish in their life, all the good things that Diane accomplished in her life. But let me explain. Working side by side and day by day with Diane was a real dichotomy. It was exhilarating, but also exhausting. It was arduous, but also refreshing. It was consuming, it was maddening, and it would drain you. But it was also informative and instructive and truly educational. To put it simply, working with Diane was often a pain in the ocole. And although this is a derogatory phrase, I actually say it and mean it in the most familiar of terms. Diane was a member of the base environmental department family, my environmental department family.